warm welcome to all of you to this workshop on mentorship programs within the GCUA, or Global Challenges University Alliance. We're really, really happy to have you here, and we look forward to hearing from you later during this meeting. My name is Ylva Hilber. I'm Pro-Vice Chancellor with responsibility for international relations at SLU, the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. And I'm also chairing what's referred to as the General Assembly of the GCUA. And we started the GCUA at SLU some time ago now, almost 10 years ago in 2012 as a project. And during that time, we recruited 5 or so members globally, and Hong Kong University was among those, Boku in Austria, and also Michigan State University. We had a couple of others. But now, since 2017, we sort of restarted, and we quickly increased the membership. And by now, we're 15 members in the GCUA. And in 2020, we also decided to refocus our activities more towards Agenda 2030 and the global challenges. So we renamed ourselves to GCUA 2030. And we also applied for further funding to develop our activities. And we got a grant, a Swedish grant, that allowed us to expand the partnership. So within the GCUA 2030 program that is running between 2021 and until 2023, we're more than 20 members. And within this program, we decided we'll focus on the next generation of academic leaders and scientists, that is mostly PhD students and postdocs, to see how we can support you to get the skills and the knowledge and the tools to ensure that we, as higher education institutions and universities, can contribute to global, globally sustainable development. And we identified 3 activities, or 3 cornerstones, and that's networks, knowledge, and tools. And we translated that to a number of activities, of which a mentorship program, a global mentorship program, is one. And that's what we'd like to discuss today. And I think as a starter here, we should also have 2 issues that I was asked to address here. And one is, first of all, for the committee members, the work group leaders or members, to wave and introduce themselves. So let's start with Diana.
Hello, I'm Deanna from Penn State University, where it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'll be drinking lots of coffee. Thank you for coming today.
And we have James.
Yeah, hi there. It's 9 o'clock in the evening here in New Zealand. So yes, nice to meet you all. Hopefully, yeah, we can all get on well and make some progress today.
Thanks. We have Elizabeth.
Elizabeth from the same university at Ylva, SLU. I'm in Stockholm right now, and it's 11 a.m. So I'm not complaining about the time. So no. Welcome everyone.
We have Melanie.
Hello, I'm Melanie Miller-Foster, and I'm at Penn State University.
And Jürgen.
Hi there, my name is Jürgen. I'm at Dalarna University in Sweden, so I have also a convenient time here. It's 11 o'clock a.m. So looking forward to lunch soon.
And then we have Agnes, who's helping us technically and also with communication within the program.
Hi everyone, it's really good to see all of you here.
And we have Natalie.
Hi everyone, Natalie Jelinek, work as an educational developer at SLU. Happy to meet all of you.
And we have Levon, who will present his views or knowledge and ideas around mentorship programs later on. Levon, please.
Yeah, good morning everyone. Levon Esters, Purdue University, and it's 5 a.m. here. So I'm glad to be here.
Great, thank you. So my second
and
task was...
Jetty's here too.
Oh, sorry, Jetty, I didn't... Where are you?
I'm here.
There, sorry, you look like a student over.
Hi all, I'm Jetty from Hong Kong U, and Hong Kong U, and it's nice seeing you all. Actually, I'm quite impressed, 20 of us there.
Great.
Thank you.
So I hope I haven't missed anyone in the committee now. Please shout if I have. Well then, so my next question was, is it okay if we record this? If anyone has any objections, please say so now. I hear nothing, so we will record. And with that, once again, warm welcome, and we look forward to hearing from you. And I think, handing over to Deanna, right?
Yes, hi, good morning, everybody again. We have a fun, hopefully, agenda for you today. And one of the first things we want to do, because we all have been working behind the scenes for the past few months to get to this point in creating a global mentorship program. And we're like, we need to ask the students what they would like. So that's most of what we're going to do today with Lavon's help. But before we dive right in, we also realized that many of you were just named your ambassadors for your university to the Global Alliance, and that you don't even know each other yet. This is the first time, being together, and you will hopefully over the coming year or years become a team like we are to kind of work towards some common goals. So to help you get to know each other better in this weird Zoom environment, we invited Natalie, who you met earlier, to help us with a fun icebreaker so that you can kind of feel more comfortable with one another as the day goes on. So Natalie, over to you.
Okay, well, thank you. Let's see, hopefully when I'm done, you will feel that this was a fun icebreaker. Pressure on me here. But I think the point is for all of you to really share your ideas and your thoughts, right? And so it's kind of difficult to do that if you don't know who you are. And I think this environment maybe it's not as weird as it used to be, right? This constant Zoom, but it doesn't really allow us to maybe read each other and talk to each other and sit across each other in the same way. So you see, we have quite a spread of people, or of locations, I meant, right? We've been hearing about all the different time zones. So maybe I thought a good idea would be to kind of visualize that. So I'm going to put a link to a Padlet, or maybe Agnes here, I'm going to copy it because I think before I got into the room. So you should see a link to a Padlet in the chat, and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you that same Padlet right now. So please let me know if you cannot access it, but this is what you should be looking at. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to press this plus sign, this pink plus sign here. And it's going to ask you to either do one of two things. One is you can actually search for a place. So I'm going to ask you to tell us where you are and maybe where your university is. I put two questions because maybe you want to drop two pins. Maybe your home university is in one place, but you're actually sitting somewhere else. And then I see somebody has already started. And I'm going to ask you to put your name under that location. And then I'm going to ask us to go around the Zoom room and share your name and where your pin is so that we have a kind of sense of where everyone is. And you see mine is already here. And I'm also sitting in Stockholm. But as I mentioned, I work at SLU. I keep getting these messages that the Padlet is getting filled. All right. So I'll give you just a few more. And I'm happy to have the committee members also drop pins if they want to. I see now there's 12. So okay. That way we can see the whole map since we have. All right. Okay, so would anyone like to start and tell us? I can actually show you mine. So my pin, and I guess maybe Elizabeth and Ylva and all of us have a pin somewhere around here. So one of these, this is Elizabeth. This is where we are, Stockholm. Who would like to continue? I keep getting these beeps in my ear because this is being updated. I'm actually going to go through and see who I have on my screen, who I see, and I will do it this way. I will say who will go next, and then I will say who's going after that person, and whoever says their pin will pick someone else to go after that. Okay, so the first person I see on my screen is Vera. So I'm going to ask Vera to go, and next to Vera I see Priscilla Flores. So after Vera, we'll hear from Priscilla. Welcome, Vera.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, I am Vera Sadowska. I am a PhD student at SLU, Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, and my pin should be in the south of Sweden. Yeah, I guess it is that one. Yeah, so at SLU we have several campuses, and I am located in the most southern campus of SLU in Alnarp. Should I say something else? Is there any set of questions that I should answer?
Not right now, but if you would like to share something else about you or your role in GCUA, you're welcome.
I joined this group not long time ago, and I'm still trying to grasp everything, but I agreed to be like a representative of this organization at our faculty. So I'm happy to take this role, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So who will go after Priscilla? Tell us one person, Vera, so that person will know that they're going after Priscilla.
Okay, do I say the person or do I say the location?
You choose.
Because I see a pin in Africa, somewhere near Kenya. I want to hear something.
Kigali.
Yes,
so after
exactly.
Priscilla will have Kigali, Rwanda, and you will tell us about that pin. So Priscilla, welcome.
Thank you, Natalie. Hello, everybody. Well, I like to thank the GCUA program for this opportunity to join you to collaborate in this workshop. I appreciate the opportunity. And my name is Priscilla Flores Aguilar. I'm a PhD student in Biosystems Engineering. This program belongs to the engineering faculty in the Autonomous University of Querétaro, where I'm staying. I live in here, I born in here. So I'm totally Queretana and Mexican. This is where I study this research campus, and I work as part of the bioengineering laboratory. In here, we develop kind of basic and apply science. Thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Priscilla. Maybe you can tell us which pin should go after we hear from Kigali.
Okay, I see a pin in, well, in Germany.
Okay, yeah, somewhere around here. So that pin will go after.
Okay,
here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Okay.
So is it Kigali time?
Yes. Is it Regis?
Yes, that's correct. So my name is Regis Nsengwe. I'm sitting right now in Kigali, where I was born and raised, but I represent the University of Tennessee, which is where I'm a PhD candidate, but currently doing data collection from my research in Rwanda. So that's why I'm so happy to be here and be representing the University of Tennessee. So yeah.
Thank you, Regis. We're happy to have you. Great. So Regis, can you pick a pin that will go after this German, we guess, pin?
Yes, the western part of Australia, I see a pin there.
Yeah, right here, we have a pin. All right. So who do we have here? Laura or Laura?
Hello, good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Yeah, my name is Laura and I'm sitting at Gcua University, so the University of Applied Sciences in and life sciences in Vienna. Yeah, and I just recently joined the team. I agreed to be the ambassador for our doctoral school. It's called Transition to Sustainability. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. And I will pick the Australian pin as a follow-up.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
this one will go after you, and should we take this one after then, geographically close, since Regis has selected this one. All right.
Yeah, okay, sounds great. New
Good.
Zealand then.
Okay, welcome, Laura.
Thanks.
And who do we have here?
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. My name's Maria. I represent Murdoch University in Perth, Western Australia, and I'm a PhD student here, looking in the discipline of soil science, and I'm looking at soil spectroscopy specifically. And yeah, I guess the next pin would be New Zealand.
The next pin will be New Zealand, so let's tell the pin after that, so that the person who's coming after New Zealand can prepare. Who would you like that to be?
Someone in the United States.
Yeah, someone in the United States. This one?
There's a lot of pins here.
There's a lot of pins. That is Dr. Esther. So I think I will skip him because he will get to introduce himself and speak to you later.
Yeah, and also I think I may have added too many pins, so you see.
That's okay. Are these all you?
Yeah.
This is Melanie, and I'm gonna make an executive decision to Melanie as well. But I'm gonna see if I have any doctoral students hiding behind Melanie and Lester. Maybe here we have a student.
Yes.
Is that right? From Lansing. Good. So then Lansing, Michigan State University will come after our New Zealand pin, if I'm keeping track. Thank you, Maria. Welcome.
There isn't a student one hiding
There
behind the
isn't
New Zealand. No, it's
there
just
isn't.
me.
It's just
make
you.
it, so. No, I've got three things there, which so I
see.
suppose the problem is I went to look up Lincoln, but it's so small it doesn't show up. So we're just a little university near Christchurch, so the biggest city in the South Island of New Zealand. But I do have a student, and she will be here next time.
Good. So then you're here representing her.
Yes.
Good. Good to know. Thank you. So then we are back in Michigan, I believe. Who did we have from Lansing that put their pin in Lansing?
Hi.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
My
name is Yingjie Li, and I'm currently in Michigan State University in Lansing. We are very close to the Great Lakes, especially Lake Michigan. Very great to know everyone.
Welcome. Should we then take the one that I have right now, Allison Brown, State College? Are you here? Can you hear us, Allison?
I'm here. And I guess I can turn my video on, although it's very scary at 5 a.m.
It's up to you.
Not gonna lie. Yeah, my name's Allison Brown, and I'm a PhD candidate in the food science department here at Penn State. And I'm a part of this very global community. This is really cool. So, hi all.
Hi, welcome, Allison. Thank you for turning your camera on for us. I think we appreciate the fact that all of us, or some of us are waking up quite early, and maybe some of you are fasting, and I'm not sure, depending on the time of the day. So it's we appreciate the effort that all of you are making to join us. So let's see, I'm gonna go for this pin over here. And this is Professor Lee, I believe. And are these both of yours? I guess we don't have a student from Hong Kong U here, or do we?
Yeah, Marcena is the student.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
hi.
Are you here? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, so I'm Marcena, but you can call me Sena. So I represent the University of Hong Kong. I am a second-year PhD student in nutritional science. Yeah. So I'm glad to be here. to meet all of you.
Welcome, Marcena. Which pin should we choose, Marcena?
Maybe the pin in Chile.
Yeah, so we'll go to Chile. Matias. Is Matias still here? Maybe not. I don't see him in my participants. Maybe we have somebody.
1 second, he will join us in a few seconds.
Okay. I'm gonna see.
Now he's back. Now you can talk to him.
Okay. Matias, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
We are on your pin.
Yes. Hi.
Do you want to tell us your name? Yeah, we know your name. We can read it, but you can tell us what you do and where you put your pin.
Well, I am a doctoral student here in Chile. I work in conservation biology. Well, I'm very glad to be here with you and to learn with this program. I'm so happy to do that and to be an ambassador of this program. Well, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I think that's enough. I see some, thank you, welcome, Matias. So I see some people still haven't introduced themselves and I'm not sure where your pins are, but I'm gonna say, Leila, you wanna tell us where your pin is? Welcome. I don't think we can hear you. We can't hear you. Maybe you can we'll come back to you. Now we can hear you, I think. No, I was just joking. We cannot. Keeping this, now you're actually muted. We will come back to you, Leila. I will come back to you. Good. Otherwise, we will do this through the chat. And then I see Itumeleng. Do you want to tell us where your pin is? So Zella, and I'm sorry, you have to tell me how to pronounce your name. But
Okay,
I don't
can
say
you
it
hear
wrong.
me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
My name is Itumeleng, but you can call me Itu.
Itu?
Yes, I'm from South Africa and I'm representing Nelson Mandela University. I'm a PhD candidate in nanoscience in the physiology department.
Great, welcome Itu. And I think Sudha, do you want to tell us where your pin was or what it would be?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Really excited to be here. I am Sudha Kannan. I'm a PhD student at Michigan State University. Just the other pin hiding behind Lansing because I put it as East Lansing.
Okay.
I specialize in international development and gender studies. And I'm looking forward to having a conversation with all of you.
Yeah, great. And I think Jama Ali Igal, can you hear us?
Yes, hi, my name is Jama Ali Igal. My pin is hiding somewhere in Sweden as well.
There were so many of them, right? So I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so I try to have a second pin, like you said, because I am in two places at once. So I'm a PhD student at Dalarna University.
Okay.
And I study international women's health, so maternal and child health. But I am living in Somaliland, which is Northern Africa, Horn of Africa. And that's where I do my research also, like collecting the data and everything. So I work at the University of Hargeisa, which is in Somaliland. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here today.
Welcome, Dama. We're happy to have you. And I think I'm going to try to come back to Leila.
Hi, did that work?
It worked. Excellent. Yes, so perfect. Welcome, Leila.
Thank you. Kia ora koutou. I am actually one of the PINs in New Zealand. I am in Christchurch, but I represent Lincoln University. I'm a PhD candidate in environmental management.
Great. Excellent. So I think that is all of our doctoral students, I want to say. I hope, have I missed anyone? No, right? Correct. Okay, great. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here, and I don't know how we're doing on time. I think we probably need to move on to the next one. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Elizabeth. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think we're doing fine. This was a really nice exercise, I think. Now we,
okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so then I'm gonna give the floor to Diana, and I wish you all, yeah,
great.
I wish you all very good conversations, and I'm happy to be kind of a fly and listen in on the things that you discuss. So welcome, everyone.
Wow. So now I hope you all see why we call this GCUA 2030. With the capabilities that I just heard about in this room, with your help, we can solve these global challenges. And I'm so glad that hopefully you guys see this as well. You have a new network to add to what you already have developed over the course of your career. Bravo, I have goosebumps just thinking about all the capacity and dedication and passion that you all have to your areas of interest and wow. Okay, so the next, we're gonna really get to the heart of the matter now, which is learning about how to create a really good mentoring program. Okay, mentoring is a word that people might, when they hear it, they might think of different things. And some universities around the world have good mentoring programs, some don't have any at all. So what we're hoping to do is to create something globally that students from the GCUA partner universities can take advantage of through their careers. And to help us do that, we need your input. And to help us get your input, we have called an expert named Dr. Levon Esters. Levon has dedicated his life to studying what makes a good mentorship program, and in fact is head of a really cool program at Purdue University called the MAP program. And I'll let him introduce his program. So we're going to hear from Dr. Esters with a presentation to get us all on the same page about mentoring, and then we'll get some interaction going. So Levon, I'm turning it over to you.
Can you all hear me? Good. Okay, good. All right, well, good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone on this Zoom today. I'm very excited to be here with you all. It will come out during this presentation, my love for mentoring and my love for graduate education. And so what I would encourage you to do, I say this to every time I give a talk, as I go through today, jot down questions, commit them to memory, and we'll try our best to address them. So the way I have it, I keep peeking over to my left because I want to make sure I'm going to tweak some things today. So I'm going to only present for about 20 minutes of content, and then we're going to go into some breakout rooms for about 20 minutes. That's a really important part of today, as was mentioned by Deanna. And then after that breakout session, we're going to come back and bring everyone together and for about 20 minutes, where I'm going to end with one slide, and we're going to open up for some discussion. So that's kind of how I'm going to tweak. So I basically cut time off of my portion. So having said that, I'm going to share my screen, my PowerPoint, and we're going to jump right into this. So let me see here. All right, can everyone see that? All right, good, good, good. All right. So again, welcome to everyone. My name is Levon Esters. I'm a professor at Purdue University, and I'm going to share with you today information regarding key considerations in developing the Global Challenges University Alliance Graduate Student Mentoring Program. So I'm going to take you on a little journey today. Let me start I want to make sure I keep myself on task on time. All right, so I always like to start out my talks to the extent I can with a quote. And I like this right here by John C. Maxwell. And it says, one of the greatest values of mentors is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and to help them navigate a course to their destination. I think this, for me, is so fitting when it comes to mentoring and what mentoring should be for both the mentor and the mentee. And so I'll provide a copy of these slides if you want to take this quote, maybe hang it on your office wall or somewhere in your homes and offices, those sorts of things. So I want to start out with that. So let me go through the goals today. So the goal of this workshop is two primarily. One is I'm going to provide you with an overview of mentoring. That's the first thing. Deanna alluded to that as she opened up. And then the second thing I'm going to do today, which is really important, I'm really looking forward to this part, is I want to facilitate discussion and gather feedback on the elements, on the central elements, if you will, of a graduate student mentoring program. So put your thinking caps on, as they say, and think about the element of mentoring and what it means for you and what you would like to get from a mentoring program. So my plan, so this is kind of like a roadmap, if you will, of what we're going to do. I'm going to share very briefly about my mentoring experience to give you some context. I'm going to share a little bit about my mentoring philosophy. I think it's important. I'm going to distinguish between advising and mentoring because oftentimes they are related, but they're different. I'm going to define mentoring. I'm going to just mention a little bit about the role of identity in the grand scheme of mentoring. Then I'm going to give you the rules for the breakout groups. And then after that, we're going to talk about submitting program considerations and some Q&D, which is question and discussion. So this is kind of where we're going to go today during this portion that while I'm with you. So I want to share first about my mentoring experiences. And I think it's, you know, I'm a faculty member, yes, but at the end of the day, I've had experiences that have contributed to how I think about mentoring and my role as a mentor. So as a mentee, I'm a graduate, a two-time graduate of an HBCU, which is a historically Black college university, North Carolina, Florida A&M University and Carolina A&T State University here in the States. And also, I know several Penn Staters. I did get my PhD from Penn State, so I'm a Penn State grad. And then also my first faculty job when I graduated from Penn State was I was a professor at Iowa State University. But I mention this right here is because at each of these locations, if you will, institutions, I received very good quality mentorship. Again, as an undergrad, those two institutions at Penn State, my advisor was phenomenal. And then at Iowa State, my department head mentored me as well. So as a mentee, I had some really good experiences. And as a mentor, which is what I do now, I have a grad lab. I have currently 7 grad students. And one thing unique about my grad lab is that I have, of the 7 grad students, 5 are Black grad students, which is not common at a school like Purdue or Penn State or Iowa State for that matter. And I'm known at Purdue and in other spaces on mentoring women and underrepresented graduate students. I kind of have a knack for that. And at the end of the day, all my students who've graduated under my mentorship are highly successful. I always joke around that at some point I'm going to be working for them because of how successful they are. So again, as my role as a mentor, this is how it came to be and how I'm engaged, in mentorship. Also, in terms of mentoring experience, I think this is important. And again, Deanna alluded to this. Grant projects that I've led, MAP 1.0, MAP 2.0, which is grants that helped us develop the MAP program, Mentoring at Purdue program, which is a program we've had now for 9 years that we created. And the purpose of the program was to enhance the quality of mentoring within the College of Agriculture, which is where I'm housed, but but also across the entire institution at Purdue University. We also have a project called Mentor Project, which was developed. It's involving 12 institutions, and the whole purpose is to help them create smaller versions of the MAP program, and likes of Michigan State, Penn State, University of Tennessee State University, excuse me, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, so on and so forth. And then we also have an NSF project that's underway, or that we submitted for, that builds on the MAP program. So you see, my engagement in mentoring is really deep. And also my research. I conduct research and mentoring. My students conduct research. I give invited talks. And also I'll be going on a Fulbright to University of Southern Queensland. I know there's some folks on here, some friends from Australia. I'll be going on a Fulbright next year for about 5 months to the University of Southern Queensland. But also I've spent some time in New Zealand with projects. I spent time in Brazil. So I have a lot of international experience, all of which in those instances has tapped into my expertise in mentoring. And I think one thing I didn't mention, I guess let me back up 1 second before I go to the next slide, is that I'm currently a faculty member at Purdue. I've been at Purdue now for 12 years, only graduate courses. So I'm in graduate education only. I teach statistics, learning theory, research design, data analysis, grad seminar, and then of course all of my students are engaged in writing theses and dissertations. And I've been, again, I'm a director of the Mentoring at Purdue program, or the MAP program is what we call it. I've been doing that for 9 years. It's my engagement as far as my faculty role, but I did this so you kind of understand and get a glimpse into the world in terms of what I do as a mentor. So people always ask me, well, Dr. E, they call me Dr. E. They say, Dr. E, what's your mentoring philosophy? And I tell individuals, it's pretty simple. At the end of the day, my role is that of a coach. And what I do is I cultivate the talent of students so that they are successful in their chosen careers. That's very simply my mentoring philosophy. And I have a much longer version. It's like a page and a half. I would encourage on here, faculty and staff, or faculty and students, if you don't have a mentoring philosophy, to develop one. I'll probably have teaching philosophies and research statements, but I do think it's important to develop a mentoring philosophy. Who knows, maybe Deanna and others, this is something we can do as part of the program as we look ahead. But in addition, in my role as an advisor, or mentor, excuse me, I focus on 3 things: empowerment of the individual, an expectation of excellence, which I never compromise, and the cultivation of professional dispositions of the student. So this slide right here encapsulates my role as a mentor, being a coach, and then cultivating and focusing on those 3 areas. So, you know, again, people always ask me, well, you know, because they see my success mentoring at Purdue and beyond, they always wonder, what's the secret sauce, if you will? But there's no secret sauce, but I do these things, and this is what I've come to over the years. So let me jump into just some basic facts that many of you are probably aware of when it comes to advising, or to differentiate advising from mentoring. So many of you already know this, right? Advising is instructing individuals to do something, next steps, about a task or a degree. It's very much guided. It can benefit any student. Primarily, advising is used to help students select courses of study, programs of study, those sorts of things. It's usually a one-way transfer of information from me, if I was in this case the advisor, to the advisee. And it's pretty much top down. So it's related to mentoring, but it's different, it's nuanced, it's a difference there. So this is important to understand when it comes to advising. And I will say that just because you have a faculty advisor does not mean that he or she needs to serve as your mentor. Quite often, advisors for some reason or another, aren't very good at mentoring, but they're very good at advising. So just understand that, and you should never feel obligation to make your faculty advisor your mentor. I would actually encourage you to seek out mentorship from individuals, and I do that. I do the same with my students as well. So I love this definition right here of mentoring, of McGee 2016. The way she states it is that it's a reciprocal, which is very important when it comes to mentoring. dynamic relationship between the mentor or team, as I mentioned, and the mentee. And what does it do? It promotes the satisfaction and development of both. So the key here is this: in a mentoring relationship, and this is often lost, it's reciprocal, number one, but number two, there should be growth by both individuals, the mentor and the mentee. And if that is not occurring, then I would argue that there's something not right about that mentoring relationship. There should be growth on both parts of the individual, or both individuals, excuse me. So when it comes to mentoring, there are two pillars of mentoring. This is from the empirical literature. You have this first pillar, which is psychosocial. These are the relational aspects: role modeling, friendship, support. So that's the one pillar of mentoring. And the other pillar is the instrumental, which is like the career guidance, visibility, sponsorship, all those sorts of things. So again, you have that definition of mentoring that I shared just in that last slide, but then you have these two pillars, which are extremely important, which are the psychosocial and the instrumental. So just keep this in mind. And again, you'll get a copy of these slides at some point. So when it comes to mentoring, again, these are things that many of you may know, but I do want to reiterate them. It's deeper engagement versus advising. That's the one thing about mentoring among many, is deeper engagement, and it does require a thorough understanding of the individual. If you were to ask any of my 7 students how we interact, and I know their idiosyncrasies. I know when they're stressed. I know when something's not right. And I pick up on those nuances. And I think that's important. And I think that's what's enabled me to be a successful mentor to my students over the years. And again, it includes some advising components, but it's very individual. Mentorship is very individual specific. I don't mentor Quincy, who's the name of one of my students, the same way I mentor Zach. One, they're different. Zach is a male and Quincy in this case is a female. So those differences, but then could be differences in terms of culture, in terms of ethnicity. There are lots of nuances to that individual. So it's individual specific. It's important and very important, key, that you understand prior experiences, their weaknesses, their goals. Again, think about a coach. That coach knows that athlete. He knows how fast he or she can run, how high they can jump, how they react to stressful situations in game time situations. So the same thing applies to a mentoring relationship. You need to understand all these aspects of the individual. So I want to just share, again, some of these things you may know, but here's some functions of effective mentoring relationships that I want to bring to bear. One, you have to clarify performance expectations up front. I think that's one thing that I pride myself on doing, is I make it very clear at the beginning what my expectations are. And we have conversation about those expectations. And that way, moving forward, the student understands what he or she needs to do in order to meet those expectations. You have to be accessible. If you ask any of my students, if we miss a meeting, because I have another meeting or a conflict, we'll make up that meeting. I have phone calls. I mean, of course, Zoom, in the world of Zoom now, but you have to be accessible, I guess, is the key here. That's one of the things, and that's one of the functions of an effective mentoring relationship. You have to be encouraging, you have to provide support. And think about these things when we get to the breakout rooms, think about and reflect on what I'm sharing now, because these are going to be important as you develop and create this mentoring program for grad students and postdocs. Constantly affirm, right? Nurture career goals. So I have students who don't want to be faculty members. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I want to help them get to that goal, whatever that may be. Maybe they want to work for NGO. Maybe they want to work in business industry. That's fine. I want to help them reach their goals. So you have to constantly affirm. You have to challenge and push. Know what buttons to push at what times is important. That helps build their confidence. Help them foster a mentoring network, right? I should not be the sole source of information for a student. They should have other mentors, and what I like to call, I have my own mentor team. I call it Team Esters, is what I call it. But everyone should have their mentoring constellation, mentor network, their team. It's important. You should never rely on one person for all of the information. So think about that again as we think about this, developing this mentor program. You have to provide feedback. That's important along the way. And I mentioned this already, right? Reciprocity, reciprocal relationship. You learn from each other. There's something you can learn. I coach sports here in the States, and I coach girls from 8 to 18. There's something I can learn from an 8-year-old young lady, the same way I can learn from one of my students who's maybe 38 years old. So always look at a relationship as a learning opportunity. It should be exchange of ideas, and you should learn from each other. So I just want to mention very briefly before we go into the breakout rooms, the role of identity. And I could have went a lot of different ways with this. You know, of course, you're going to have cross-cultural aspects to this program, of course, because everyone is dispersed across the world. But I do want to mention something very briefly about identity. And for those who may not know what it is, I'm going to go through it. It's the composite of a person is, right? It includes how one thinks about themselves, how they view the world, and those characteristics that define oneself. So gender identification, sexual orientation, where they were born, whether they have first generation status, what their values are, even their hobbies. All these things make up an individual's identity. Some things are constant, right? And some things change depending on where you live. So your identity could change as a result of being placed in New Zealand versus being placed in State College, Pennsylvania. So those social contexts impact your identity. Again, and this is really important as we move forward, and this is going to be especially important for those who mentor, is that a person can hold multiple identities that intersect. And I know someone on here mentioned they were at Penn State, or I can't recall, but they mentioned part of their research expertise or interests is in gender studies, I believe. And so that individual, maybe others can relate to this, that these identities can intersect. So she can be Black, a transgender woman, scientist, spouse, all those sorts of things. So this is especially important. This role of identity is especially important for mentors to understand and respect, because that's going to feed into having a very supportive and a positive experience in terms of mentoring. And the other thing I want to mention for identity is just a few things. Again, when it comes to mentoring and advising, it's complex, right? It's interpersonal interactions, it's nonverbal communication, all those things make those interactions complex. So keep that in mind, especially as it relates to an individual identity. How you interact with individual students is going to be important. So again, think about this as we create this program. And I'm saying we because hopefully Deanna and others, I can be a part of this because I love this. I hope you can see through my exuberance this morning. I love mentoring. I love graduate education. This is my life's work. So that's why I'm saying we. Also, understand as a mentor, for example, myself, I bring my own beliefs. I'm from Chicago. So I bring my background from Chicago and how I was brought up in my family, all those things to the table, and my cultural lenses and my biases. And so as a mentor, I need to be mindful of all those things as it relates to my interaction with students. And I think also the last thing I would mention is, you know, it's important that you develop an understanding of your biases and your beliefs and your cultures and privilege as well. I have privilege, even though within the large institution of Purdue, maybe less so with it being a predominantly white institution, but being a male, being a full professor, all those are privileges I have. And I need to be mindful of those as I interact with students. And so again, these are things to be mindful of as it relates to the role of identity. So, Deanna, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the rules for breakouts. I'm timing myself, and I said I wanted to spend about 20 minutes. I have about 1 minute and 20 seconds left before we go into the breakout rooms, because I want to give a good amount of time to the breakouts. And so we're going to give you 20 minutes to breakouts, but here are the rules for the breakouts. So one, you'll be randomly placed in a breakout group. Each breakout group will get 20 minutes to discuss 7 questions, because I developed 7 questions. But you have to assign a recorder, so someone that's taking notes, and a reporter, because that individual will share out and present that group once we get through that 20 minutes. So again, choose a recorder, choose a reporter. And then what I want to encourage you to do is this. This is a safe space. And the program that we develop will not work unless we get your best ideas, period. It will not work unless we get your best ideas. And as Deanna mentioned at the outset, we brought you together because we want your ideas. Again, this is my first time meeting everyone in this call. I mean, I've had phone conversations with Deanna, but this is my first time meeting. But I can tell you that in order for this to work, and I'm sharing this from the perspective of someone who's developed a program that's now almost 10 years old, that what I'm sharing with you is what I did myself. And I encourage all the students on here to bring your best ideas, bring your criticisms along the way, because if we don't have this information, this program will not work. And so I would encourage you to point number 3, to share any and all thoughts and ideas within your group, but also when we come out and we share it with the larger body, that you share those ideas as well. And then again, the major takeaways, we're recording this, but also the major takeaways will be recorded via Palette during the debriefing session that we'll have after this 20 minutes, and is going to help inform the next steps. So this is these are the ground rules, if you will, for the breakout groups. So let me show you the questions. These are the questions that you're going to, they're going to be placed in the chat with each group. So what challenges have you faced in your mentoring relationships? What are some of your most important mentoring needs? What are your expectations of a quality graduate student mentoring program? What components would you like to see as part of a quality graduate student mentoring program? What are some potential barriers that could interfere in the development of a quality graduate student mentoring program? What mechanisms would need to be in place to ensure the success of a quality program? And then lastly, what criteria should be considered when recruiting mentors? So I came up with these questions. I thought long and hard about them, and I think I had a list of maybe 11 or 12, but I thought these are the best 7 for today. And so these are the questions that you're going to receive that I would like you to respond to. So having said that, Deanna, I'm going to stop there and then turn it over to you, whomever, in terms of the break session.
Wow, those are some really tough but important questions. So thank you for that. And thank you so much for that overview of things that we need to consider as we create a global mentoring program. I don't want to take any time away from the breakout sessions because there is a lot of work to do, as you guys can see. But I do want to make sure that everybody, just to see if anybody has questions about how the breakout sessions will work before we randomly put you into sessions. So just to reinforce, if you could, when you get in your room, assign somebody to take notes and then somebody to maybe report back at the end. Jetty, I see your hand is up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you're saying about the recorder and the reporter is, I assume, not us, right? Not in the community people. So all the students are doing it and we're just observing.
Yeah,
Am I
thank
right?
you, Jetty,
Okay.
for that. So I think we are going to throw one of the committee members in a breakout room. But what I want to, we're only there if you have problems. I'm actually, if I'm going to turn off my camera in the breakout session, pretend I'm not there unless you have a problem and you need me to help. I'm going to even try not to listen, right? This is your time. We are only there if you need something. So just get to know each other, enjoy the conversation, help each other out, start being each other's mentors too, right, Levon?
Yes.
You can have mentors
Yes.
from other places to bring new perspectives to your work. So, so Jetty, you're absolutely right. It's not one of us. Our roles are just to be there if there's a problem. Okay. Agnes, anything else about the breakout sessions people should know before you throw them into their new rooms?
Deanna, I do want to say one thing, everyone, especially for the students. There are no wrong answers in this exercise. As I like to say, Rome wasn't built in a day. This is a process and it's going to take some time. But if you do what I'm trying to get you to do now, and Deanna and others, at the end of this, just like in the case of the MAP program 10 years later, it will be a good program. So I just want to make sure I mention that.
Perfect. And you will all have the Padlet link in the chat right now, so you can open it up before you leave for the breakout rooms. You can, some of you can share the screen, and you can write straight into Padlet. That's all. I will let you in now. See you soon again.
All right, so it's less than 10 minutes left. So I can't see what's on the palette. I guess we'll have to, Deanna and Agnes, we have to figure out how we can review what's been shared. But what I can say is that what I was hearing, I was sitting in on group number 3, and again, I was like a fly on the wall, right? And they shared some really good things. Here we go. Thank you. Look at that, like a game show. So here's some of the information that's been shared. So you have, you know, unfamiliarity with mentorship, commitment, career guidance, networking, regularity of meetings. See, group 1 shared, most universities we know don't have mentoring programs. Wow, that's pretty interesting. People need to develop mentoring relationships outside. Yes. More attention to multiculturalism. Yes, on. Adult learning, networking, cultural differences. So yeah, this is some really good stuff. So what I'm hoping, Deanna, is that we can get these as populated as possible. And ideally, I don't know, I didn't think about this, how there's a way we can map the responses onto the question. It may be a little bit more difficult task, but it's not something we as a collective can do. But what I will say is this: the importance of this exercise, everyone, is that, and I cannot, let me give you an example, let me share with you what I mean, why this is important. So the MAP program that we run, so yeah, I'm the director, I have a co-director, but the program is actually run the way it's organized differently than a lot of different mentoring programs, but we lead, and me and my colleague have a vision for the program, but the work of the program and how it's organized, input from the students is so critical. And I have a listening ear, my colleague has a listening ear to what their concerns and they want to mold the program. So I said to say this, that as we work together to create this program, this mentoring program, it is critical that we get your feedback. I would not take offense to anything that you say, because again, my hope is that I can stay involved. But I think the advantage I have to this project is that I'm external. And other than me wanting to see this program be successful, you're not going to hurt my feelings, right? So whatever you think needs to be said, say it. You can always email it to me, so on and so forth, because that's going to be key as we move forward. Because this program, as I said, will not work unless we come together and work together to create it. And it should be created with input from students, I think, number one, which is why we had this session, but also it's important to have input from the mentors or the faculty as well. So we're going to get their perspectives too. But I do want to say that. So let me share my screen in the remaining time we have and share some considerations. Share. So here's some considerations that Deanna and everyone need to be mindful of when developing a mentoring program, among many, right? One, you need to think about what type of program do you want? You want a network type program where students can have access to a network of mentors, or you want to have a matching program? That can be decided later. You need to have a research and evaluation component. That's critical. That's a critical. That's very important. Excuse me. You need to make sure you're documenting impacts and outcomes of your program, which is what we do, the MAP program. You need to organize your data collection processes. You need to have a feedback component, and that needs to be confidential. So if John shares some issues that he's having, again, I don't know who's going to be the point person for this program, but it needs to be confidential, number one, and there needs to be accountability. So if, for example, a mentor is not respecting a student or engaging in ethical behaviors, that needs to be addressed. You need to have mentor training. That individual, they need to understand what their role and disposition they need to have to be a mentor. But at the same time, you need to have some mentee training where the students also understand what their role is and what disposition they need to possess as they move forward. So these are some considerations off the top of my head that you need to be mindful of as you move forward. So I'll end by sharing this. Take a picture, I'll put it in the chat. I would encourage everyone on this call after the day to email me, hit me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm here as a resource for you. I hope to be involved and engaged throughout this process. So Deanna willing, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but I would encourage you to reach out to me. I tell this to everyone. If you send me an email, I will respond to you. I want to see you be successful. What I'm sharing with you is the same thing I share with my students, so you're not getting any boiled down or abbreviated version of what I give my students. I'm giving you the same information, access to information that I would give them. So I'll stop there, Deanna. It's 6:27, we have 3 minutes left. So I'm gonna be respectful of people's times, but I'll let you or whoever needs to close us out, close us out.
Great, thank you. Ilva, I know you have to leave shortly. Do you want to say a quick goodbye and then we'll close up?
Yeah, thank you, Dan, and thanks to all of you for participating, sharing your ideas. And special thank you to you, Levon, for taking the time. It's been really interesting and to get to know your program and your ideas a bit better. And I'm sure it has inspired lots of discussion in the groups, and we look forward to reviewing the Padlets in detail. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing all of you. I look forward to seeing all of you at a later occasion. So bye for now.
Thanks, Ilva. And thanks to all of you. I was very privileged to be a quiet observer in group number 1. And I have to say how much I appreciated the honesty, but also how the group connected together and shared things openly and supported each other. So I think we're off to a great start. I will reiterate what Ilva said, is that we will take these notes from the Padlet, map them, like Levon said, onto the questions, and use your input to frame what will become, I think, the first ever global mentoring program. I don't think there's anything like it. So I wanted you guys to know that as far as I know, we are all part of something brand new. So it's an experiment, but I know that we're all, as Levon said, we are, what's one of his things? Expectation of excellence was one of his criteria for the mentoring program. And so I know that we're going to try something new. We're going to experiment, but I know it's going to work. And your input today is critical. I think just listening to group 1, we got what we needed today to make this global mentoring program something that can fill some gaps in what you have at your universities, and help you all advance personally and professionally. So thank you. I know this is a lot of your time, you're busy people, but I hope you will stay by our side through this process.
And Deanna, if I may add one thing, and understand this, that you're not just creating this program for yourselves now, but you're creating this program for others that come after you. So, thinking about that. So you're laying the groundwork for others to benefit from it moving ahead. So Deanna, I want to make sure I shared that.
Yeah. Okay. Now we do have something that I'm not familiar with. So Agnes, I'm going to turn it to you. For those of you who want to, this is not required or expected, but if anybody would like to stay on for a little social time, Agnes has set up new technology. It's always fun to learn new technologies through this global pandemic. But Agnes, would you like to say a few words about what you've set up for the social time?
Yeah, sure. This is called wonder.me. I don't know if you heard about it before. We tried it a few times here at SLU. It's a tool for networking, let's say. So you can join with the link I posted in the chat, but you have to leave Zoom, otherwise it won't work. So
okay,
copy this link, and hopefully I will see you in Wonder instead.
Okay, so for those of you I'll see in Wonder just for a few minutes to say hello and try out something new. Otherwise, we will be in touch. We'll send you some notes from today so that you know we're going to work for you. Okay, we are working for you. All right, thank you everybody so much.
Bye.
Thank
okay.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.